Hey guys, Nubkeks here and welcome back to some Heroes of the Storm. We're on Hanamura and in today's video we're going to do a couple of things. Number one, we're going to be playing some Varian. We're going to be going for a tank Varian build. We're going to like switch it up a little bit from the meta build, just a tweak to make it fit in better with our team comp. We'll talk about that when we get to the game. But yeah, we got some really nice players in today's game as well, which is also a bonus. The second big thing in this video, much like the last video, the Johanna video I did, where we had this sort of wonky double mage triple backline comp with a Brightwing solo healer that looked really terrible, maybe at a first glance, but then you could kind of hopefully over the course of that video, excuse me, see how it was working out. I'm drinking some Coke here because it's so sponsor. It's absolutely roasting in Ireland. I'm melting alive. So hopefully I don't burp or disgusting things. Yeah, we're going to be running double specialists in today's video, which again might seem kind of nuts. That's another one of those things, right? If you go on, I don't know, the Reddit page and ask like, what? Give me some rules for how you are guaranteed to lose a game and have a horrible dysfunctional team comp. Probably double mage, double support, all that sort of stuff will probably appear fairly high up on the lists. But you'll see in this game that it actually, you know, it's not all that terrible as it might seem. Like it does work in some way. So we'll talk about that as well as we get through the game. Anyway, we're going, as you can see, for Probius and Sylvanas, two specialists right off the start. Our enemy team led off with an Asmodan pick. So, you know, relatively standard picks here. Oh, my puppy. Hello, puppy. Hello, Winston. He's walking behind. We might do a video on one of the channels one of these days to say hello to Winston, maybe. Might say hello to him. Everyone who's been watching the streams will no doubt have seen him a whole bunch of times. He got to go out and play in the back garden, enjoy the sun, and go to the toilet all the time. So, yeah. Vala plus Dahaka for the enemy team. Well, they've got a really nice comp so far, actually. They've got a really nice comp. Kind of interesting. And you can see how I'm saying to my friend, I don't even know what to pick to fit in with all of this. There's no bribes picked up. There's no bribes picked up here, so that's kind of intriguing, unusual for this. Our teammate was gonna ban out our Varian, feels bad, but we're gonna be trying to pick up Varian, and we do get him in this game. I'll talk about why I decided to go for the Variant in the first place. But yeah, Falstad slipped through this draft, which is very unusual. The enemy team, though, I mean, they've got Asmodan for the pushing pressure to take the forts, Vala for consistent sustained damage in team fights, plus also pushing power. Dahaka, he's got the global presence. He also has got pretty good pushing power as well, so he's not too bad. So they've got a pretty nice setup so far. The enemy team actually bans out the Falstad, which is very unusual. I think if we took up Falstad, we really wouldn't want a Falstad, I don't think. We'd be very much focused then on pushing and have a very weak team fight. It'd be interesting for sure. But I think we're happier with the Varian and with the Greymane. So why did I pick Varian here? Why is Varian like my #1 choice for the tank over pretty much every other tank in the game? Except for Dahaka, he's the only other one that's off the table. Why Varian? Well, Varian is super strong. This is I think the first time I really started playing him recently. I've played him a few times on stream since I've made this video. I've talked about it there, but Varian, he's so versatile and he's so strong against practically every single type of enemy damage because of his parry build with the shield wall talent at level 4. So yeah, effectively, shield wall at level 4, then into live by the sword at level 7. It gives you, what's it, 2 seconds? I think it's 2 seconds. It's a very long time per parry charge of protected status, which means you cannot take any damage while that is active, and it doesn't get removed by CC or anything like that. So it makes you incredibly durable. You're completely durable from burst damage from magic. You're completely durable from sustained damage as well. You have 2 charges of parry, and then you also get a third one, probably from Live by the Sword at 7. So no matter what damage the enemy team drafts, you're going to be good. Guys, I will see you in the game, and I'll cover this stuff in more detail when we get there. Alright guys, and here we are in the game, running the super durable, the unkillable Varian tank. So, well, even level 1s are going to depart a little bit from what would be the traditional talent build for Varian as a tank. Overpower is normally your go-to talent at level 1. It is, in my opinion, by far the best talent. on level 1. We're not going to take it in this game though. I'll talk about why. But just so you know what it does, Overpower, whenever you parry a basic attack, a hero's basic attack, it will refresh your cooldown of Heroic Strike and make the next one do 20% bonus damage. Heroic Strike by default is an 18-second cooldown, and you knock 2 seconds off that with every basic attack. But needless to say, Overpower, we also increase the duration of our parry at level 7, bear that in mind. So each parry lasts about 2 seconds, so you've got 2 seconds to block a hero basic attack and get another Heroic Strike off. I mean, if they hit you a couple of times, you might even get 2 extra Heroic Strikes off. So it's tons of burst damage. Bear in mind Taunt as well. Your heroic choice at the tank build will force them to hit you with basic attacks. So that also synergizes really nicely. So yeah, I mean, Overpower is just an insanely good talent that gives you so much fairly guaranteed burst in the team fight and enables Varian to do a very, very dramatic amount of damage. Things are getting crazy here. Stitches gets blown up. I think Stitches got tunnel vision there. He was looking for the hook. I think he was going in for the kill. He had probably the Rehgar in his eyes. He had a kill. He was already planning the kill. He was hanging up a medal on his wall. I killed that Rehgar with a beautiful hook and walked right by a Greymane who promptly killed him. So feels bad for him. And that gives us a nice early lead in this lane, by the way. And that will give me a chance to talk about Lion's Maw, the taunt I took in this game. So, Lion's Maw, this is a quest. Every time we hit a hero with Lion's Fang, which is our Q, very narrow skill shot, which does damage, and then a 35% slow for a second and a half. Well, Lion's Maw will increase the damage of that by 4 every time we hit a hero. We can do that 30 times for up to 120 bonus damage on our Q. That's a very small thing. It's not very good. It's nowhere near the amount of damage you would get with Overpower, not even close. So we're definitely not taking it for damage. By the way, totally worth to die right there. We got a stack of our Q quests and we denied Asmodan time to stack his. Brilliant, win-win, right? Might have been a bit overzealous, but I think it was an even trade, probably at worst. So we're not too mad about that, or death. The big thing is the reward for this quest, which is when you've hit the 30 heroes, the slow increases to 50% and the duration increases to 2 seconds. So instead of a 35% slow for a second and a half, it's a 50% slow, which is huge, for 2 seconds. And this is really, I really switched up this talent pick here at level 1 to fit in with our composition. We've got triple backline, triple squishy heroes, plus a Rehgar, plus me. We have lots of damage. We don't really need damage. All of our heroes do quite a big chunk of damage, so we're not really worried about that. I do, by the way, miss a few Qs in this game. Aim is not the best, so for example right there we missed the Stitches. We took him out anyway, but if we'd hit him it would have been a quicker kill with the slow. So we got more than enough damage. We don't need the damage. With the extra CC we'll be able to provide with that extra slow on our Q, I think should be really nice. I mean, we might slow down people within Probius's turrets or within his what are they called? His W's, the little zones he throws down. If we manage to pull that off, that could be super effective. We can lock them down for Greymane to hit and to beat on, maybe proc Executioner a bit more. You know, can just help zone our team as well, you know, just keep them alive. So that's why I went for it in this game, Lion's Maw. I do think it's a nice talent when you're good for damage, and the extra tiny little bit of CC you get, you know, that extra slow is kind of the thing you're looking for, is very important. At level 4, we're going to go for Shield Wall, of course. So our parry will give us protected status. This is just one of the best talents in the entire game. It's so strong, just completely making you immune to all damage. So we can use this to nullify Asmodan's damage, Vala damage. If we get hooked in by Stitches, hey, it's okay, it's all good. We're gonna have 2 charges of protected to keep us alive, maybe even 3. Spray BM not working because the spray bugs out. Rehgar gets hooked in. We're gonna dive in here and just try to absorb some damage and maybe get in the way. Rehgar walks away. I don't know if we saved him in the end, but just walking out into the middle of that lane to maybe keep him alive, just hopefully. It cost us our well to do so, and a little bit of mana, you know, our cooldowns on our parries, so that doesn't matter too much. But yeah, I don't know if that actually did save him, but I think it was a worthwhile thing to try in the end, just in case it was the thing that saved the Rehgar. You know, walk out, maybe you absorb a clumsy attack move by the Vala, maybe you absorb a skill shot or something from someone, Just on the off chance that you could keep him alive. Worth doing. Doesn't cost us much apart from our cooldown on the well, really. That's the big thing. But this map, I mean, it can be difficult to use the wells anyway. Plus the forts tend to die relatively quickly. So wells, I feel like this is not... wells aren't too important on this map. We're going to pop actually our healing kit, healing pack. I don't know, healing yoke thing. As we come in here, unfortunately the Rhaegar does get taken down thanks to a really nice root by the Malfurion, and we're getting pushed off. We almost get hooked in and killed by Stitches, but he does miss, so that's good for us. I'm going to Hearthstone here at this point. We have built up 23 stacks of our Q quest. So, I mean, realistically speaking, certainly on Hanamura, which is fairly brawly, you could probably be finishing this Lion's Maw quest by around about level 10 or so. You know, maybe a little bit after. Between level 10 and 13 is probably where you should be aiming to finish that quest. And bearing in mind that we've missed a couple of them. This is fairly, I think, relatively achievable stacking standards for that quest. So I think levels 10 to 13 is a good window to aim for, to have that extra slow, which should sync up nicely with the kill pressure you're going to get with taunt at that level, of course, as well. Level 7, live by the sword, increasing the duration of parry by 40%. And then if 4 hero basic attacks are blocked with a single parry, it reduces the cooldown by 2 seconds. So this has been nerfed, right? It used to only be 2 hero basic attacks, which was kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, potentially if you're tanking up multiple members of the enemy team, it's very easy for them to hit you by accident with some basic attacks. You've got the parry for a couple of seconds. So I mean, there's a fair chance, like Vala will almost definitely hit us once. Stitches may hit us too. It's possible that we will trigger that cooldown reduction. The big deal, of course, is the 40% extra duration on parry, which gives you 40% extra duration on the protected status. It makes you so difficult to kill. If you do get the parry reduction, you should get 3 parries in a row, right? So parry has an 8-second cooldown by default. You pop the first one, it gives you 2 seconds of parry. You pop the second one, it gives you another 2 seconds. Then if you're hit by, if you get the cooldown reduction twice from Lift by the Sword on, well, once on each one of those, that's 4 seconds off parry, plus it's been 4-second duration, so you can basically string 3 together if you get the perfect cooldown reduction. Difficult to do, but when it does work, it can be very effective. Bear in mind too, that Lift by the Sword talent is going to be extra effective if they do have someone that hits really fast, you know, Zarya or Tracer, any Lucio, any quick hitting hero, Genji, you're going to be able to kind of wreck them with Lift by the Sword. It gives you almost guaranteed cooldown reduction on that parry. We're going to die here because of that hook. Rest in pieces, Varian. Will be missed. In situations like this, in fact, the overpower at level 1 can give you a pretty terrifying amount of burst damage, actually. So that's definitely something to watch out for. Yeah, that can be pretty scary for people to deal with. It can be pretty scary for people to deal with. Very difficult to play around that. I'm kind of thinking now, actually, as well. Now I'm looking at it. I'm thinking about level 13 in terms of the talents there. Mortal Strike, right? Reducing healing on heroes by 40%. That's pretty good against a Haka. It probably reduces the healing of his heroic. So that's something that we could maybe have made work with the overpower talent as well. So we could maybe have given up that slow from Lion's Maw at level 1. We finished the quest, by the way, level 11, I think. Yeah, overpower, that's the other thing. Overpower at level 1, you know, getting all those resets on your heroic strike does synergize very nicely with Mortal Strike at 13, which reduces the healing people get. Would have been really good against a Haka. Not too bad against Stitches, though he's not really gone for a healing build. You know, we'll somewhat neutralize the Malf healing. So that's definitely like a trade-off. We could have given up the slows and taken Overpower plus Mortal Strike. I don't remember what talent I took at 13. We'll have to see when we get there. But yeah, at this stage, you see I'm trying to just de-push this top lane. Try to stop them pushing that in too much. I think people are trying to get us to push down the forts. You can see we've done a lot of damage to their forts here. People are scared to push in because there's no tank here, but we need to stay up top and continue the soak. We are behind in terms of soak. We can't let them just get a free push in one of the lanes that we could have maybe joined up as 5. That's a really interesting thing. I think Sylvanas with a 5-man push can be very, very effective. But we would probably want to leave someone else in the top lane to stop the Azmodan getting a similar thing. So with that, we're able to join up with our team now and kind of keep on pushing in. Sylvanas got gorged. I don't know what happened in that last fight. Anyway, the fort down bottom is on half HP, so it should be pretty reasonable for us to be able to pick that up. Tahaka's going to split push. This is kind of nuts. We need to probably win this fight pretty hard. They're going to get split push value. We don't have any payloads for us to push in. We've actually popped our healing thing quite early as well. Okay, Tahaka has arrived now. So this is looking like a big team fight. Both teams on even talent tiers. Tahaka gets... Oh my god! Tahaka gets the tongue on Sylvanas while Sylvanas has her wave in the air. She gets cleansed and jumps into the enemy team and then jumps back out again, I think. Or she got hooked in but then waved out. I think she got hooked in by Stitches and got the haunting wave out again. That was kind of ridiculous. And Tahaka does go down. Gonna come in and taunt the Azmodan. Doesn't do much there. Probius gets hooked in. Gonna just try keep these guys slowed down, try getting their way. At this point, we're just gonna body block the Stitches because we're not in any danger here as a Varian. We can tank up lots of damage, throw in our Q, which does secure the kill on him. I think he probably would have died regardless. But yeah, alright, cool. We got ourselves a couple of kills. That is a pretty big deal. That wins us the team fight. Gets us ahead in XP a little bit, which is nice. Gets us some map pressure. We're actually gonna come and do the boss. Something that almost never happens on this map. The boss is so rare. The problem with the boss here, the problem with Hanamura, I know a lot of people dislike Hanamura. I actually think it's a really good map. I like this map a lot. The problem with the map, there's a couple of problems. It's just the balancing of the shots to the payloads to the difficulty pushing down keeps on the boss. The thing with the boss, right, is that it's difficult to take the boss. It does take a relatively long time, and we've got triple range damage, so we actually kill it pretty quickly. But it takes a long time. It's very difficult to do. Whereas taking out forts is such a huge deal. So you're never going to take the boss unless it's a situation like this, where all the forts are already down, you win a team fight, and the enemy death timers are big enough that you can actually take it safely. It's such a rare thing to actually happen. Same thing as the problem with the keeps is it's very difficult to push down the keeps because they're so far in. And, oh, another thing, if there's payloads as well, right? You're not going to do the boss if there's payloads. Stitches comes in, he dies. They need to fight this, by the way, because if they don't, we're going to win the game. This is probably going to be game. Malphus just stuck in the middle of us. Nice work by Greyman, he's diving in as well. We get the kill. I'm going to be able to zone these guys out with Varian, and that should be game right here fairly effortlessly. Good Ancestral, actually, to keep me alive. Just going to scare away Azmodan. They're killing Tahaka on the back, and there we secure the shots. Okay, right, let me finish that thought, though. Hanamura... basically, pushing, you want to destroy the forts, the two forts, you want to push in your payloads, you want to contest enemy payloads, and by that stage, by the time you've done all of that stuff, the game's usually over. You rarely have a chance to actually take the boss where there's no payloads to push or contest and there's no forts to take, and the enemy team is lost a couple of heroes down. Happens so rarely, so you almost never take the boss. And then the keep even is the step after that. You go and take a keep after you've pushed all the payloads, you've taken out both the forts, the boss is down, the enemy team is weak enough that you can actually do it, there's no enemy payloads. It's so rare to tick all those boxes. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on Hanamura. You can see my friend at the end saying the map is such a mess in the chat. I think it's in a really good spot. It's got great potential to be a good map. I just think that the balancing of the shots with the length of the map is a bit wonky. So for example, they could make the forts give you less, stuff like that, but I'm not sure exactly how they have to balance it. Maybe make the boss a bit more impactful, increase the core health, make the forts, taking forts less impactful, but keeps more. I don't know, but you got the sapper mechanics, you know, when you destroy a keep and you just never see that in play. Basically, you almost never see the boss taken, you never see the keeps go down, you never see sappers pushing the lanes. It's kind of silly. It's all about destroying the forts and pushing in your payloads, and by that stage the game ends like that. But hey, there you go. Guys, that was Varian. A quick look at him, plus a discussion on the map as well at the end. I hope you did enjoy that one. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know what you think on the map and what you would change down below, and what you think of Varian 2. The talent build should be on the left hand side. In this game, going for Lion's Maw normally would always be going for overpower, but given that we had a triple backline that we wanted to zone for, peel for, and keep the enemy team locked down within their damage, and the fact that we didn't really need any more damage from me, went for Lion's Maw in this game for that extra CC, and then picking Varian with the shield wall and lift by the sword talents to be this just super tanky. That's what I want to do in this game, was provide CC for my team while also being almost unkillable to the burst damage of Azmodan plus the sustained damage of Falla. They had a very mixed damage comp, and Varian fits really well in as being a survivable tank against that, plus, you know, helping set up our teammates with CC to get all of their damage off, and I think it worked really nicely. Should be buttons on the right hand side to subscribe, check out another video, all that stuff. I hope to see you there, and yeah, I'll talk to you all then. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.